Hello, my karmically connected friend. The final days of 2025 are slowly drawing to a close. This is a sacred transition between seasons, a time when we usually have the habit of looking back and summarizing what we have accumulated over the past year. And then, by inertia, we rush to create long lists of things to achieve and grasp in the upcoming new year of 2026. But my dear friend, try to ask your heart, if the house of your mind is crowded with old worries, how can there be any space left for new and beautiful things to enter? In the wisdom of Buddhism, a true beginning never comes from grasping more, but always starts with letting go. Peace is not born from accumulation, it sprouts from relinquishment. There is a truth I want to gift you right now. You don't need more to become more. What you truly need is less. Less burdens, fewer false expectations. Today, let us sit together, take a deep breath, and one by one put down 10 specific things that need to be let go so that your soul may be light and peaceful, ready to welcome a brilliant new year. Lesson 1. Stop explaining your peace. The first and most vital thing you need to let go of to protect your energy for the new year is the need to explain your choice of peace. We live in a world that is far too noisy, where busyness is celebrated like a prestigious medal of honor. Because of this, when you choose to go against that current, when you decline a loud social gathering to stay home and read, or when you choose to slow down amidst the rushing crowd, you often feel an invisible pressure to justify yourself. You fear being judged as eccentric, distant, or antisocial. You hurriedly seek logical reasons to justify your need for quiet. But my dear friend, engrave this saying in your heart. Your peace is not a group discussion. You absolutely do not owe anyone an explanation for choosing to tend to the garden of your soul. Imagine your inner peace is like a shimmering candle burning in a windy night. If you keep carrying that candle everywhere to justify and explain to others why you are holding it, the gale of judgments and opinions out there will blow it out immediately. Your task is to use both hands to shield and keep that flame burning bright, not to debate its existence. This new year, learn to smile and remain silent in the face of inappropriate demands. The right to leave places that drain your energy, the right to say no, gently but firmly, is your ultimate right. Enter the new year with a boundary as solid and gentle as that, because protecting your own peace is the highest act of self-love you can perform. Lesson 2. Don't turn pain into your identity. The second thing we need the courage to put down, something very subtle but extremely important for healing, is to stop turning pain into your identity. The past year of 2025 may have left scratches, losses, or nameless sorrows in your heart. Seeking a soulmate to share with and lighten the burden is a legitimate and necessary need. However, there is a very fine line between sharing to be soothed and using pain to define who you are. There are those who, because of their great suffering, tell everyone about their misfortune, living forever in the role of a victim to seek attention and pity. Unintentionally, they have let sorrow become their name, their identity card. But my dear friend, please engrave this saying in your heart. Not every feeling deserves a microphone. When you constantly magnify and broadcast your pain to the outside world, you are not liberating it as you imagine. On the contrary, you are engraving it into your mind. You are nourishing that seed of suffering to grow stronger every day. A wound that wants to heal needs to be bandaged, kept warm, and protected in silence, not exposed to the wind and dust of curiosity and social judgment. External noise will infect the soul's wound and make it harder to heal than ever. This new year, Learn to embrace your difficult emotions with inner silence and tolerance. Be the kind mother of your own pain, soothing it instead of telling everyone about it. Do not let the sad stories of the old year become the script for your life in the new year. You are not your pain. You are much greater, more radiant, and stronger than those scars. Let go of the victim label to step into the new year with a most free and complete mindset. Lesson 3. Let go of goals that aren't yours. Thirdly, I invite you to perform a courageous audit of the list of goals you are harboring for the new year. Place your hand on your heart and ask how many of them truly stem from the yearning call of your soul, and how many are borrowed goals from the outside, from parents' expectations, from social pressure, or from subtle comparisons with peers. We often feel exhausted in this life, not necessarily because the path is too steep or the burden too heavy. The deepest fatigue comes from the fact that we are striving to climb a mountain that is not our own. You try to earn a lot of money, buy a bigger house, climb to a higher position just to prove your worth to someone, while deep down, perhaps all you truly need is a simple life, planting flowers, reading books, and being peaceful with loved ones. When you climb the wrong mountain, the higher you go, the thinner the air becomes, and the more joy depletes, leaving only a vast emptiness even when standing on the peak of glory. Please understand that letting go of an unsuitable goal is absolutely not a failure. It is an awakening. It is a brave act to return freedom to yourself. Crossing out those borrowed burdens is the moment you stop betraying the true voice within. On the threshold of the new year 2026, boldly filter out those impurities. Keep only what makes your heart vibrate and smile when you think of it. Do not fear going slowly, and do not fear being different. It is better to walk slowly, step by step, on your own path with joy than to run very fast and exhaust yourself on someone else's path. Let the new year be the year you live for values that truly belong to you. Lesson 4. Stop reacting before you are calm. The fourth point, and also an essential spiritual skill we need to carry into our New Year's luggage, is to let go of the habit of reacting immediately to every fluctuation. Try looking back at the past year of 2025. How many times have you felt regret for sharp words spoken in anger? How many precious relationships were cracked just because of impulsive actions in a moment of lost control? We often mistake quick reaction for sharpness, but in reality, in communication and emotion, reacting too quickly is usually a sign of slavery to habit. When someone throws a hot coal at you, if you throw it back immediately, both will be burned. Between an event happening and your reaction, there always exists a sacred pause. That is the space where wisdom and freedom reside. Your task in the new year is to expand that pause. Do not let emotions fill it too quickly. Set a golden rule for yourself in 2026. When facing anything disagreeable, allow yourself to stop for at least 3 seconds. Take a deep breath. Do not rush to send a message when your hand is shaking with anger. Do not make an important decision when your heart is heavy with sorrow. Do not argue when your heart rate is too fast. Delaying your reaction is not suppressing emotions. It is waiting for the fog to clear to see the blue sky of clarity. Always remind yourself of this mantra. Emotional pacing is not weakness. It is mastery. When you know how to step back from an emotional storm, you are protecting your own blessings and dignity. Composure is the most powerful answer, and also the greatest gift of peace you can give to those around you in this new year. Lesson 5. End comparison. The fifth thing, a powerful antidote to insecurity that we need to drink right now, is to let go of comparison. My dear friend, every day when we open our phones, we are often overwhelmed by brilliant images of other people's lives. This person is exceptionally successful. That person is perfectly happy. Another is wealthy and luxurious. And in that moment, unconsciously, we look back at ourselves and feel insecure, small, and lagging behind. Comparison is the most professional thief of joy. It sneaks into the mind and steals your satisfaction with the present, making what you have seem mediocre in your eyes. But please awaken to realize that this life is absolutely not a race. Every human being is born with their own time zone, a unique trajectory arranged by the universe. You cannot use someone else's ruler to measure your life, just as you cannot force winter to be as warm as summer. Look at the natural garden to see the wisdom of heaven and earth. Peach blossoms choose to bloom brilliantly in the warm spring, while chrysanthemums patiently wait until the chilly autumn to show their colors. Does anyone stand before a chrysanthemum and blame it for blooming so late? No one. The chrysanthemum is not late. It is simply blooming at its own right time. Just like fruit on a branch, some ripen early, some ripen late. Waiting is not a delay or incompetence, but the necessary process of accumulating life sap for the flavor to become the sweetest and richest. Gently remind yourself of this mantra whenever you feel unsteady. You're not late, you're ripening. Stepping into the new year, instead of constantly peeking into the neighbor's house to see what they have, spend your full time and effort nourishing your own garden. When you stop comparing, you will be startled to realize that the flowers in your own garden are also blooming with a fragrant scent and beauty in a very unique way. Trust your own process. Lesson 6. Reduce digital noise. The sixth point, a major challenge of the era that we need to bravely face to find stillness, is to let go of attachment to the virtual world and minimize digital noise. My dear friend, look back at the past year of 2025. Perhaps we have spent too much precious time of our lives just scrolling, watching, and consuming information unconsciously. Every morning we open our eyes to the phone, and every night before sleep is the blue light of the screen. Our minds are bloated with thousands of sensational news stories, useless arguments, and endless notifications. We are letting that waterfall of information wash away our peace and exhaust our mental energy. In the wisdom of awakening, attention is the most precious asset you own. It is more valuable than money or time, because wherever your attention is, that is where life truly happens. When you waste your attention on junk content online, you are throwing your treasure out the window. You are letting others control your mind instead of mastering it. Entering the new year, I invite you to try establishing a digital diet for the soul. Commit to spending quality periods of the day completely without a phone or internet. This could be during meals, when talking to loved ones, or an hour before bed. Let your eyes rest by gazing at nature. Let your ears listen to the sounds of real life, and let your mind be empty. When you actively turn off external noise, you will be surprised to discover a miracle. That is the voice of intuition. Your inner wisdom will begin to speak. You will hear the call of your heart more clearly than ever. Creativity will return, and the sense of deep connection with present life will be revived. Do not let a tiny screen separate you from this vast and beautiful world. Put down the phone to truly cherish your own life. Lesson 7. Let go of the need for applause. The seventh point, an important milestone marking the true maturity of the soul that you need to achieve before the new year, is to let go of the craving for praise and recognition from others. My dear friend, try to honestly look deep into the motivation behind your actions over the past year. How many things did you do purely for self-joy, and how many did you do with the secret hope of receiving a compliment, an admiring look, or applause from the crowd? We often unconsciously live like actors on the stage of life, always performing to please the audience. And when the velvet curtain closes, when we do not receive the expected attention, we fall into a void, disappointment, and begin to doubt our own worth. Emotional dependence on the attitude of others is the chain that binds your freedom. But in the wisdom of Buddhism, a truly peaceful person is one who needs no one to stamp a validation on their value. Learn to live like a wild flower blooming in the deep forest and high mountains. Whether anyone passes by to look or not, whether it receives any praise or not, that flower still blooms brilliantly, still gives off a fragrant scent for the world. It blooms not to be seen. It blooms because its mission is to bring beauty and life. The value of the flower lies in the wholeness of its own being, not in the eyes of a passerby. Engrave this saying in your heart as a guiding star for the new year. The loudest approval is quiet confidence. When you know who you are, when you are living according to your conscience and virtue, you will no longer feel the need to explain or prove it to anyone. You do good deeds because your heart wants to, not to be recorded. You live kindly because it is your nature, not to be praised. By letting go of the burden of performing, you will see how light and authentic life becomes. Let inner freedom and joy be the greatest reward for all your efforts in this new year. Lesson 8. Let go of perfectionism. The 8th point, an invisible 1,000-pound burden we need to bravely cast off to find serenity, is perfectionism. My dear friend, many of us are stuck in this subtle trap. We tell ourselves that we will only start when everything is 100% ready. We will only be happy when we achieve flawless success. And we only dare to love ourselves when we become perfect. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion that is never real. It is like the horizon. The closer you run toward it, the further it recedes. Pursuing perfection only makes us exhausted, stressed, prone to procrastination, and miss the true beauties of life happening right now. Look at the river to learn the lesson of imperfection. Is there any river that flows as straight as a line? No. Every river is winding, rugged, sometimes peaceful and flat, sometimes churning through rapids. It is that very crookedness and imperfection that creates the majestic beauty and vigorous vitality of the river. If the river were forced to flow straight, it would turn into a soulless, man-made canal. Your life is the same. Its beauty lies in rich experiences, in both the highs and the lows, the successes and the lessons from failure. This new year, change your life's mindset. Choose presence over perfection. Allow yourself to be an ordinary human, allowed to make mistakes, allowed to be clumsy, and allowed to learn from stumbles. Do not wait until you become a flawless version to dare to step into the light. Cherish even your scars and flaws, for they are an indispensable part of creating your unique self. When you accept your own imperfection, you will become softer, more tolerant, and more pleasant to the whole world around you. That is the most beautiful state of living. Lesson 9. Loosen rigid expectations. The 9th point, and also the golden key to opening the door of freedom for your soul in the new year, is to learn to loosen rigid expectations. My dear friend, we often enter the new year with a very detailed script in our heads. We stipulate that this year we must reach this sales figure, children must get into that school, and everything must happen exactly according to the ABC sequence we have arranged. We believe that is thorough preparation. But through the eyes of wisdom, that is you building an iron cage to imprison your happiness. When reality unfolds even slightly differently from the script, you immediately feel disappointed, collapsed, and think this year is a terrible year. To find peace, perform an important mental shift. Instead of clinging to expectation, switch to setting intention. What is the difference? Expectation is a rigid demand for a specific result. It is tied to control and fear. Intention is the direction of the heart. It is tied to expansion and trust. Expectation says, I must get this amount of money at all costs. Intention says, I pray for an abundant life and I will strive my best for that. Intention is like a compass pointing north. It tells you where you are going, but it allows you the flexibility to choose the path. Perhaps the path this year will not be as straight as you thought. Perhaps it will wind through curves and hills. But if you hold firm to the intention and let go of the expectation of the path you must take, you will fully enjoy the journey. For example, you set an intention for the new year to be peace. But life brings you a difficult challenge. If you cling to expectation, you will blame heaven and earth. But if you live with intention, you will understand that this challenge is the necessary lesson to train your peaceful mind to be more stable. The universe may not bring exactly the package you requested, but the universe always brings what your soul truly needs to grow. In 2026, learn the virtue of water. Water always flows downward, but never stubbornly rams its head into rocks. Encountering a rock, water turns its stream. Encountering a hollow, water fills it. Flexibility is the greatest strength. When you loosen the hands that are clutching expectations, you do not lose your goal. Rather, you are opening your heart to receive unexpected miracles that the limited human mind could never calculate beforehand. Trust the flow of life. Lesson 10. Speak words that don't wound. And finally, the 10th point to close the list of burdens to let go before the new year is the cultivation of speech, or more specifically, letting go of wounding words. My dear friend, the ancients had a saying that words are like splashed water. Once uttered, no matter how much you regret it, they cannot be taken back. Look back at the past year of 2025. Perhaps there were moments when, due to anger, a large ego, or thoughtlessness, we accidentally let out sharp words that hurt others. It could be a harsh criticism of a partner when they made a small mistake, or a cold sentence to parents when they were overcaring. Wounds on the flesh can heal over time, but wounds in the heart caused by words often bleed for a long time. In Buddhism, right speech, samavaka, is an important part of the path of practice. Words are not just sounds, words are energy. They are karma. A wholesome word can save someone's terrible day, bringing hope and warmth. Conversely, a poisonous word can extinguish faith and sow lingering suffering. Stepping into 2026, I invite you to set a filter for your speech. Before intending to say anything, especially when having strong emotions, practice the habit of pausing for a few seconds and asking yourself these 3 questions. First, is this true? Second, is it necessary to say this right now? And the most important question, Is this said with a kind heart? If the answer is no, choose noble silence. Silence, then, is not distance, but an act of love and wisdom to protect harmony. Remember that you do not need to win every argument. You do not need to use words to prove you are right and others are wrong. Peace is much more precious than being right or wrong. Vow to your heart that in this new year, I will use words like lotus flowers to offer to the world, not as daggers. Use words to heal cracks, to encourage those who are disappointed, and to express love to important people. When you can cultivate your speech karma, you will find your life becoming light, relationships becoming deep, and your blessings growing every day. Let your speech become the best feng shui for your life. My dear friend, so we have together courageously named and put down 10 invisible burdens. Engrave one thing in your heart. An old year does not just end on the wall calendars. It needs to truly end inside your soul. In this sacred moment, I invite you to perform a small spiritual ritual to completely close the journey. Close your eyes and imagine you are gathering all those worries, sorrows, and old things, bundling them in a package of the past. Take a deep breath to receive the fresh and hopeful energy of the approaching year 2026, and then exhale forcefully. Imagine you are gently letting that package float away on the river of time. It is gone now, floating toward the vast ocean and dissolving completely. You are now light, empty, and pristine like a blank sheet of paper. You are fully ready to write the brilliant new chapters of your life. Thank you for trusting and accompanying me throughout this journey. If this video was a meaningful spiritual gift to you, please hit the subscribe button so we may continue to walk together. May your new year be filled with peace, wisdom, and love. Goodbye, and see you in a new journey.